Hello, dear friends. Here we are at Kardec Radio. Wisdom for the Spiritist Practitioner. Yes, this is day 30 of our beautiful journey. We're following the studies of the book Educandário de Luz. Educandário de Luz is a compilation of messages from several spirit authors, among them Andre Luiz, the teacher of tonight. And through Chico Xavier, these beautiful spirits came to teach us how to be better spiritists and how to be better spiritist practitioners as well. It's not a given. If it were, everybody would be by nature. But it requires training, it requires effort, it requires that we team up. In Spiritism, we learned something quite unique, the importance of teamwork effort. Around the world, people have the misconception that mediumship and the works of a medium are better done alone. Actually, Spiritism teaches us that it's better when worked in a harmonious group. And if there's no harmonious group, Vanessa, we create one. And it takes time and it takes patience, which are virtues and qualities that are needed for the journey in the long run of life. Today, Andre Luiz, the spirit teacher tonight, is going to talk about our group. And his analogy is the group, the spiritist group, being like a farm. It's fantastic, it's beautiful, and it's very renewing. It uplifts us because it gives us new strength, new courage, irrespective of the obstacles. So let us go for it. But I'll say hi. Yes, let me say hi to the friends who are here with us. And later we can keep doing the same. I'm also sharing here on the Facebook page because more friends are joining us. Did you know that Kardec Radio has a new website? Yes, I knew, meaning revamped. Yes, and you can access almost 3,000 podcasts. No, I'm not kidding. 3,000 podcasts that you can access and really rejoice with the teachings of Spiritism, broken down in 60 programs, more than 60 programs, more than 30 hosts around the world. Yes, I'm not kidding. This is 6 years of works in 2 realms, more than 30 hosts, more than 60 programs, more than many listeners around the world, like 100 countries around the world. And here we have Kardec Radio for you. And there's more to come. Our team is working as we speak, and we're fine-tuning the ins and outs to make it ever more accessible to you. Kardec Radio is available in so many ways, and we want to share these teachings because they're good for us. They nourish our souls. They nourish yours too. Am I right? Cessa, beautiful Cessa Costa, how are you? Beautiful mom Fabiana Labate. Raquel Murray is here with us. John De Rosa. Rihanna, how are you, Rihanna? Andrea Torres, how are you? Safe and sound. Erica, beautiful Erica, how are you? Beautiful Dr. Andrew Moreira, how are you, my friend? And Sol Souza, excuse me. Pérola, how are you, Pérola? Lé Severo, how are you? Fabiane Morales Albert, how are you? Sunshine, doing beautiful works on Intro of Spiritism, right? Every Tuesday and every Saturday. And we have here another beautiful mom, the mom, Yara Gouveia, the mom of Fred Gouveia. Thank you, beautiful mother. Thank you, Yara, for being here with us as well. So friends, I know many more are gonna come and you're joining us, and we know also that you're listening on demand at Kardec Radio or on YouTube channel at Kardec Radio. But feel this as vivid as it is, because the brain, for the brain, what we're experiencing is what is real. So when you, for example, watch a talk show on TV, you have a feeling it's happening right now. And it is. And it is for you. For the people who recorded it, happened on another day. But according to the spirits, we know that everything we do, we say, we speak, and we feel is emitted like the light of the stars. Depending on the magnitude of the stars, this light may travel light years away. Depending, as Kardec says, on the intensity, the frequency of our thoughts, feelings, those may extend themselves throughout many lives. And that's how we'll see the effects of our actions today into reactions tomorrow. So we better really watch out. We better watch out. We better not cry. No, it's not Christmas. I'm joking. It's nothing about Christmas yet. But we're talking about action and reaction. We need to pay attention. Right, Angelita? Teresa Filizola, welcome friends. So we can see these beautiful bridges of collaboration amongst different countries, different cities, creating these vibrations of optimism. Right, Alexandra Azevedo? Shall we? Our group, Andre Luiz, visualize. Let us visualize the moment, in whatever way you feel it, the moment in which Chico Xavier received this message from the spirit, Andre Luiz, the same spirit that wrote the book Nosso Lar and the series And Life Goes On, Missionaries of the Light, The Messengers, yada yada yada. Our group, Maria Amélia Santos and Angelita is here, Dr. Moreira is here. I cannot forget, talking about group efforts, the beautiful Fraternity Without Borders. Help fraternitywithoutborders.org. You know, Christmas is coming, and that's an organization to help many children that are, and I say especially children, but I know adults, people of all ages, they are in great need of help. So, fraternitywithoutborders.org. Our group, our Spiritist Christian work group, in fact, resembles the field dedicated to the common farming. Souls in mourning who seek the center represent swampy lands that we can usefully drain. Aggressive and rude observers are magnetic thorns that we must remove without noise. People who are trapped in mental idleness are dry lands that we must irrigate with affection. Individuals of good nature, but hesitant in faith, are like fragile herbs that ask us for help until time favors them. Irritable brothers, enduring personal and endless oversensitivity, are the shrubs eaten by ugly-looking worms. Dreaming brothers, efficient in ideas and inefficient in actions, represent unproductive flowers. inveterate beggars who never move their arms in good works seem to us like sterile foliage that we must withstand in patience. Friends who are dedicated to gossip and sarcasm are devastating birds that harm the sowing. But the companion who brings the heart to serve is the sower who goes out with Jesus to sow, incessantly helping the execution of the divine plan and preparing the harvest of love and wisdom for humanity in the better future. Wow. Andre Luiz here tells us about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 types of people who may join a Spiritist group. And he, in an analogy, like the farm, he brings to us the awareness of what to do. Before we go back to this very in and outs, the ins and outs, let us not forget, tonight we're being taught a lesson on group administration. And this is interesting because majority of Spiritist groups around the world are formed with people that have barely had, if ever, any lesson on group administration. In a way, it's good because the Spiritist group is not like any other group. But on the other hand, it's not so good. But right now, according to the Spiritist teachings, we have enough information to help us lead the way into administering a Spiritist group effectively. The first ever published in that regard was the wise Allan Kardec. In 1861, he published in chapter 29 of the Medium's book, the rules and regulations of the Spiritist Society of Paris. I'm just summarizing the name of it all. But there he shares the bylaws of the group with the intention to help us administer a specific type of group, which is the Spiritist group. It's not the same. A group in our business company is one thing. A focus group as well is something else. But a Spiritist group has particular needs that require particular skills in administration. Am I saying this because I'm a master on this? No. But through the struggles and searching in the literature, we've identified that it's a must to follow first Kardec. So if you want to form a group, or if you're forming a group, or if you already have a group, it's important to read that chapter and study the chapter in the Medium's book about the rules and regulations of the Spiritist Center. In the Medium's book. Once we read and study that, we are better aware that Kardec was really careful. And some of Andre Luiz' teachings here match. I'm not going to say everything because the words are different, but the overall concept matches Andre Luiz. But he extends to deeper, let's say this way, more specifically. Then in the book, Spiritist Conduct, Andre Luiz, through the medium Valdo Vieira, published by the Brazilian Spiritist Federation, it's already in English, it's already at the hands of the Brazilian Spiritist Federation, awaiting its publication. And it was translated by the team at the Spiritist Society of Virginia. The Spiritist Conduct book, in Portuguese, Conduta Espírita, lays out what we need as a spiritist and as a spiritist practitioners. So we cannot do whatever we like, whenever we like the Spirit said in a previous message. Andre Luiz himself, he said, forget your imaginary rights. Literally, whomever comes is welcome, but we have duties, not exactly imaginary rights. In this one, he talks about the central person who shall be our focus of attention, the person who is suffering, afflicted. That person needs a system of drainage. So he compares the person who is afflicted with a swamp that needs to be drained. But when you talk about draining, the drainage system, it's not trivial. We really need teamwork effort, and we really need to apply ourselves. You don't push a button and you drain a swamp. You need people to put machines in, you need trucks, you need a system, and you need an ongoing effort. It's not going to be different here. The second case is about aggressive and rude observers, and this exists, unfortunately. People who come into the center. I remember once when we started our works in Spiritism in English, in 2001, 2002, I think by the year 2003, few years in, suddenly a friend brought in two men who were Baptist, but irrespective of their Christian tradition. They brought in their Bibles, and we welcomed them. In the middle of the workshop, they started raising their hands. But Mentor Joseph kept telling me, do not give them the word yet. We could see the spirits were trying to challenge us in the group. But there was a moment in which the mentor said, Vanessa, then allow them to speak now. So quickly, they flipped the pages of the Bible. And they said, but you're saying now that that sin doesn't exist. It's simply a mistake. And we're no sinners. But in the Bible, it says this, that, and the other. And we calmly explained the Spiritist view on it. We calmly addressed it. When we finished, each one was talking to two other members of our group. And one of these other members was very power struggling with this man. That's when the mentors came to me and said, Vanessa, now you go there and talk to them. And I said, friends, excuse me for a moment. Why have you come here? Oh, but you're talking about reincarnation and the Bible. I said, have we come to your church to talk about it? No. So you're coming to our group and you're welcome. But there's a condition. Be open-minded. If you don't agree, you're allowed to leave. But you're not allowed to stay and create commotion. So stay if you feel this is appropriate. But if you want to continue arguing, we would ask you to please leave. And God bless you. And I turned my back and I left. And of course, later on they left. Which is fine. Which is fine. But Andre Luiz is saying, this is aggression. You don't go into somebody's home and you start dictating rules, regulations, or being considerate of their belief. So we have to be like that with our center. And Kardec, in the Medium's book, says that whenever he came across people like this, he gave them a chance. On the third time, he asked them to leave. This is Kardec. So Andre Luiz is giving us guidance. So if that happens, if somebody gets into your group and they start dismissing the rules, the regulations, and confront and creating challenges, that aggressiveness, that rudeness needs to be addressed without noise. So we didn't say this in front of everybody, but at the end, aside, saying, thank you very much for coming, but if you insist on creating this argument, please leave. So that posture, that attitude, the attitude of firmness, of protection of the center needs to come. Or the spirits are always going to find somebody to create challenges for the group. And we need to think about the whole, the group, the spirits who are taking care of it all and are in need of rescue and helping people in two realms, and not that single person that is disturbing. Right, Sylvia, how are you? And Lisa Teles, John the Rose is here. Tara Gabriele, thank you for being with us. And Julie is here, beautiful Australia. Beautiful heart, Julie, healing heart. People who are trapped in mental laziness, idleness, they are like dry lands that need to be irrigated with affection. You see? That's interesting. That's a unique strategy. Probably we haven't heard in any course of organizational psychology. I've been there, done that, and I don't recall any instruction in that regard. Only Spiritism brings that to us, which is irrigating the dry lands of people who don't do anything. They go into the center and they leave, and they go into the center and they leave, and they don't do anything. Affection. Hello, my friend. How are you? How are you? And another day, how are you? How are you? How are you? And if it's morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am so happy today. Hooray! Right? And by paying attention, affection is something that doesn't need words. It's vibration. Affection is an emanation. Like Andre Luiz says in the book Christian Agenda, which is in English. Virtue is not a mouth that speaks, but a force, strength that emanates from us. Affection is vibration. So when I visualize people and before I say something, I emanate that kindness. They may not even see it, but you are emanating. Remember, we're saying this almost for the last 3 days. Before we go to the Spiritist group, let us prepare ourselves. How so? By affirming to ourselves. Put your hand on your chest, right, Marilda, and say, I am light. I am peace. I am joy of living. I am at peace with everyone in the Spiritist group. I am at peace with everyone in the Spiritist movement. Can we repeat that one? I am at peace with everyone in the Spiritist movement. I am at peace with everyone in the Spiritist movement. But that may not change people, but it changes us. And that's all that matters. But we are going to emanate a harmonious vibration. Right? So that's our homework for the next 24 hours. Say these affirmations. I am light. I am love. I'm peace. I am peace. I am joy of living. I am at peace with everyone in my Spiritist Center. Visualize it, practice. It's going to make a difference. And teach your children. Teach your children. The other night, a spirit friend told me a story to tell Virginia. And it goes hand in hand with this. And I'm going to share with you. Right, Marida? I am light, I am light. Exactly, Marilda. But tell your children so they practice. I was saying, you know, Virginia, there was a little girl and her name was Pintinha. And she was a happy girl. But at school there was a girl named Patinha. And she didn't like very much the happiness and the joy of Pintinha. So she used to bully her, like laugh about her. And one day, because Pintinha knows very much about Jesus, she prayed to Jesus and said, Jesus, can you teach me what to do? So Jesus came to her and said, I'm going to show you how Patinha lives. Patinha is not happy. That's why she's doing this. And a camera, and Jesus showed to her the home of Patinha, dusty. Nobody was cleaning it. The food wasn't good. There was no dad. And the mom, she wasn't being good because she was very confused. So Patinha was very sad. But when she got to school, she got even sadder when she saw Pintinha so well. So Jesus said, do you see why she's laughing at you? Because she's feeling sad. And then Pintinha asked Jesus, what do I do? Well, when she laughs at you, you look at her in the eyes and you say, you are light, you are peace, your joy of living. And then I asked, of course Virginia asked me to ask Wonder Woman to help her do the exercise, but after Wonder Woman came in, which was her, she actually practiced with me. And that's a good practice between couple and between parents and children, or even amongst children, that they look at each other in the eye. So she looked at me in the eye, and I said, let's pretend I am Patinha, and I am laughing at you. She said, okay. What do you do? She looked at me in the eye, and she said, your light, your peace, your joy of living. And then I hugged her, so she feels reassured that this is a technique. For us, sometimes we won't be able to say these words to people in our lives, but we can think of them and feel them just by looking at them. And if we don't see them physically, we can visualize them and visualize ourselves telling them these words. This is the way we're going to practice compassion and practice peacemaking skills. Okay? All right. So here we are. We are here with Andre Luiz telling us about another type of person that comes to the Spiritist Center. This is a lesson in Spiritist Group Administration. Very advanced. Okay? So Andre Luiz says, individuals of good nature, but who are hesitant in faith, are like fragile herbs that need time to really blossom. So some people, you look at them and they're like, oh, they're wonderful people, but they're not so sure if they are affiliated to Spiritism or not. Give them time. Give them time. You see, Andre Luiz is teaching us lessons on administration of feelings. Wait, patience, and irritable brothers who are too sensitive. Melindre. In Portuguese we say melindre. People who are too oversensitive, you know. You touch it, they're like, ay. And you just touch, ay. And they're like this. Anything, they're like, oh, but that person didn't look at me, didn't talk to me, didn't pay attention to me, or said this word to me. And you're like, no. Yes, they did. I know. And they go home and they spend weeks holding imaginary offenses. You know, once Emmanuel told Chico, Chico, tough it up. Crocodile skin. Tough it up. Crocodile skin. You know, if you pinch crocodile skin, the crocodile is not going to feel anything because it's very thick. Tough. This is us. How do I tough it up? How do I not be oversensitive? What's the answer? The other day, Teresa Castro got the book, Pills of Trust. Today, whomever has the answer of how not to incur in oversensitivity or melindre, that person is going to win another Pills of Trust book. Who tells us how not to be oversensitive? How to avoid oversensitivity? How to avoid melindre? How, friends? I'm going to wait. Rudy is here, present and grateful. Thank you. How do I avoid being oversensitive? What's the secret to avoid being oversensitive? Who wants a book? It's almost like an ice cream, huh? But better than ice cream, because ice cream, calories, sugar. Book. Free book. Pills of Trust. Who wants Pills of Trust? Exactly. Not taking personally, Alexander saying, means no ego. Right, Alexandra? You got it, Alexandra. Yes. I'm not the cause, I say to myself, not to take it personally. Exactly. Tolerance, acceptance, and forgiveness are also pertaining. But Alexandra was fast, so boom. Thank you, Alexandra. You got it. Teresa Castro, Alexandra got the books. So if we go to the Spirit's book, the Spirits say the causes of all problems rely in ourselves feeling that we're the center of the universe. Ego, pride, and selfishness. That people need to look at us, observe us, believe in us, listen to us, do what we say. The question is, why should people do all those things? We're not God. People don't even listen to God. Don't pay attention to God. Forget about God. Despise God. Dismiss God. And God's not hurt. Why am I going to be hurt? I'm not God. So when I look at myself in the mirror and say, I am a child of God. I'm not God. I am a child of God, but I'm not God. I reincarnated to learn to do good, which is not to become God. But people need to invite me because I am the president of the world. What? No. When we go to that level, we forgot humility. And as a child of God, I keep myself grounded. Thank you, Alexandra. Send me, please, by message, your address, okay? Thank you. So Andre Luiz says one more here. You know those people who come to the center say, I remember once at the Spirit Center of Baltimore, somebody came and said, we should recycle, because I work with recycling. I said, great. Can you teach us? I don't have time. But they want us to do. It's so funny. People have beautiful ideas, but when they have to roll their sleeves, they don't do it. So what does Andre Luiz says about them? They're just unproductive flowers. Flowers that are there, but they don't actually make a difference. They dream, 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 dream. So we understand. He's boosting our understanding. And then here we have, what about those people who come and they're always the needy ones? Oh, my life, I need help. The spirits are persecuting me. But they never do good works. Who are they, Andre Luiz says? They're like sterile foliage that we must be patient with. So we look at them and say, you know, it could be us in the past. We're no longer there, but who knows, in the past we were. Somebody was patient with us. Can we thank them? I don't know who they are. Maybe it's our guardian angel. But those who in this life or previous lives looked at us and were patient, observed us and were patient. From mothers to fathers, to caregivers, to educators, to directors of Spiritist centers that look at us in our immaturity and kept investing and waiting with peace. That's what patience is. Waiting with peace in the heart. You remember the song, right? Peace in the world begins with me. When I do good, I know I'm truly happy. When I am kind to one another, we know true love is deeply in our hearts. The time has come for building peace on earth. We don't believe in the lack of love. And we don't believe in the lack of love. And if you are shocked about the current events in the world, of course it shocks us. And psychology explains it's very different from a field of war, because at least you're expecting something and you know who you're expecting from. In these cases of these crazy events around the world, in Brazil, the United States, etc., these forms of aggression and cruelty, they come from whomever. We don't know. So it creates a lot of anxiety. But to diminish the anxiety, we need to understand that we are in a planetary transition, and that many spirits who were, for centuries in the lower zones, in the lower realms, they're allowed to reincarnate. And they have a lot of aggression inside of them. And if we don't educate them well from the get-go, from pregnancy, and then the first 7 years of life, we will not change much. They're going to repeat the mistakes of the past. And those mistakes may be brutal, barbaric, like the ancient Vikings. And I was just watching a documentary by BBC talking about Viking clubs. And they say therapeutically it helps men who have a lot of aggression and don't know what to do with it. But on the same token, you see these Vikings clubs being formed as what? A way for all those spirits who spend sometimes centuries in those battlefields in the spiritual realm since those reincarnations. And now they are reincarnated. And what to do? The education that families are giving are failing because we don't have emotional education. And we don't have spiritual education. The other day, a good friend of mine said, but Vanessa, why? Why are these barbaric things happening? And I said, why not? When you don't have God, everything is fair game. I'm not saying I'm agreeing with, but the more we postpone the bringing of God to our lives, people are hesitant to talk about God. They're hesitant to pray together because of religious tolerance. I say, you know, what about universal prayer? What about these universal feelings? We're going to wait for people to die for us to start thinking about God? So Andre Luiz tells us we need patience, but we also need, as he says here, service. But before that, the one and only in this farming of the Spiritist group, he talks about the friends who come to the Spiritist Center and gossip and are sarcastic. And I've seen them sometimes when we're singing, being spontaneous, and they have that sarcastic smile, or they're gossiping. No matter how hard you work, they're always finding a defect, an imperfection. What do we do with them? We just know that they are harming the sowing. We pray for them, hoping that these birds either change or they go and visit elsewhere because they're not helping. We don't need gossipers, right? Finally, Andre Luiz says, but the companion who brings the heart to serve, the companion who brings the heart to serve is the sower who goes out with Jesus to sow. Stop for a minute and let's think. When I go to the center, do I bring my heart to serve? You know why we're asking? Because many people, they go to the center and they close the heart and they start working just from here on. They don't want to feel. We need the feelings. Feelings. Oh, feelings. Here I have my long-standing friend, Aloysio Correia. How are you? Rosa Maria from Panamá. Como estás? Que alegria. So, Andre Luiz is saying, if I bring the heart to serve, then I am the sower who is working with Jesus incessantly, and helping the execution of the divine plan, preparing the harvest for the better future of humanity. You may doubt that going to a little group in any place of the earth is doing much. But according to all the spirits, those efforts are powerful. Remember, you are a child of God. I am a child of God. If you are attentive to your group, to your community, you're making humanity better. And we need discipline, we need loving kindness, we need commitment. They are saying here, after this lesson of the administration, let us prepare our hearts and go to the center saying, I am at peace with the Spiritist Center and everyone I encounter. This is it, dear friends. Tomorrow another teacher is going to come and we wait for you. God willing, we'll be back here with wisdom for the Spiritist Practitioner. Thank you, friends.